game Papercuts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Scott. Welcome once again to Papercuts, episode 8, a Death Note recap podcast. As I said, this is episode 8, and in episode 8, we are going to be covering episode 29, 30, 31, and 32 of the classic anime Death Note. With me, of course, is Oli. Hi, Oli. Welcome to the show.
Hi, already. I'm Oli. Welcome to Papercuts Death Note podcast. Just two dudes talking about anime.
I mean, just like everybody else out there, there's nothing unique about us at all.
Nope.
Not a damn thing. We saw a show, we like a show, we watched a show, and now we're talking about the show. And in a lot of ways, this is the perfect show to follow along with your first watching of Death Note. Because let's be real, if you've made it this far, you know just how crazy, complicated, and insane this show tends to get. So, Ollie, how was your week? What'd you think of these episodes?
Episodes are super cliffhanger. It's hard to stop myself from binge watching it. The week, it's getting pretty warm here.
Yep,
my side of the world.
It's finally spring after a long, dark winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this winter felt long and really, worse than usual, right?
It was worse than usual. You know what? You're right. It was. I've seen way too much snow last winter. Did I enjoy it? No. Do I like it? No. Do I have a choice? No.
Is that why you live in this part of the country? Yes. So you don't have to deal with as much snow. If you wanted to deal with snow, you'd probably live in Manitoba. I'm sure there's good people in Manitoba. I can't imagine wanting to be there.
Move there to Manitoba. You know what? Oh no, what's that? Nunavut.
Oh geez.
Try that.
Yeah, no, just no Arctic life. No Arctic life for me, please. The folks
who
do it are much hardier than I am.
Oh, dude, I bet.
Yeah, they are definitely stronger people than I am. And you know what? I'm happy being a weak man by the coast.
I'm happy living by the coast. West Coast, best coast.
West Coast, best coast.
Yeah.
Hard facts. Anyway, so this week we're going through episodes 28, 29, 30, and 31 of Death Note, and these get absolutely wild. So where we left off last week was when Saido, a different Shinigami, whom we found out through exposition that the original Death Note that Ryuka dropped in the human world was Saido's Death Note.
I got confused on that for a second, to be honest. I was like,
right.
Oh.
So he scammed Saido out of his Death Note, stole it, whatever, and just threw it in the human world just because he can, basically. And that was the one that Light picked up and took ownership of. So we left off with meeting Saido, and him saying, complaining about getting his Death Note lost, essentially, and he is now heading to the human world to get his Death Note back.
It's weird. Do you think there's a law against Shinigamis throwing each other's notebooks to other worlds?
I don't think so, but this leads us to believe that when they mentioned the Shinigami King a long time ago, or the man upstairs or whomever creates the Death Notes, I don't know if all Shinigami know who the Shinigami King is.
I thought it was the guy with the gold. On the opening credits, they have a shot there with all the. I'm not sure if that's all the Shinigamis, but there's a gold-faced dude with gems on his head. I was under the impression that was the head honcho.
Oh, I mean, it might be.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought he was just another dude.
Well, he was sitting on the throne.
Unless it's the king's decree that
no,
just go get it from Ryu. I'm not giving you another one.
Fair. That sounds fair.
Maybe. So we open the episode, episode 29, Father, with Sayu is in a real bad way. After her incident in the desert, she seems to be catatonic and completely unresponsive and in a wheelchair. Obviously, Suichiro is also really depressed about having left the Death Note to Mello and his gang. But what choice did he have? So that's our overarching feeling right now. Saido, the Shinigami whose Death Note Ryuk stole at the beginning, comes to the human world to confront him about it. Is it just me, or is Saido kind of a loser?
Based. He's a loser.
Like he's yeah, okay, good. Like I don't feel bad for him.
It's based.
I don't want good things for him.
That's a bit mean.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like this character is bringing things out of me that I didn't know were there.
I mean, it does look like a pushover.
And he kind of acts like one too.
Yeah. I think, was there a scene that Saido was scared of one of Mello's goons?
Oh, I don't know about that. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So Ryuk says that he has no clue what the Death Note is because that's the Death Note that Suichiro gave to Mello. So
I'm so confused.
So Ryuk sends Saido to deal with these mob bosses. Okay. No, wait, hang on. No, let me look at these notes. So Ryuk says that he has no clue what the Death Note is. Mm-hmm. The boys learn that Wami's house was created to find L's successor, which was something that you and I talked about before. Mm-hmm. We weren't sure if it was just a regular orphanage or if it was something that that was actually created for that purpose.
Yeah.
They learn that Nier was the most gifted person and that he must be the one heading the SPK. Light gets a letter from the owner of the stolen Death Note with their location on it. As it turns out that Misa had looked at all the known mob associates and wrote down the one with no lifespan. So she looked them up, found out who they were, and then noticed that one of them didn't have a lifespan on him, assuming that that person was the owner of the Death Note, the one that was given to his gang. Which works perfectly, because as they died, they controlled him to send their location to Light. So Light burns the letter once he's memorized it, but Saido has seen it, and he makes his way there for his Death Note. He arrives at the hideaway and makes himself known in a very comical way, just by taking back his Death Note and touching somebody else with it. So it wasn't that he was afraid of it, he just wanted to make sure that he could do it in the way he wants to. Mm-hmm. And when faced with this god of death, naturally, they all open fire on Saido, which doesn't work, naturally.
Who doesn't?
And so...
I would.
Right? And he tells Mello that the last two rules are actually fake. But Mello, not skipping a beat about having another person in his gang, sends this god of death to go stand guard outside.
Oh,
you
stand outside.
What? So the big thing we learned from this moment is that now Mello and his gang are aware that the 13-day rule is fake. Mm-hmm. And so is the destruction of the Death Note clause fake. That if somebody destroys the Death Note, them and everybody else who touched it will die. Mm-hmm. So we know those rules to be fake. Mello sends him outside, and Light tells Ryuk that he's going to give up ownership of the Death Note again, but keep Misa's on his person to make sure he keeps his memories. Oh. The investigation team... Yes. So we're going to find out why this happens towards the end of this episode.
Okay. It's starting to make sense now.
Yeah. So the investigation team is contacted by Kira and lent the Death Note and told about the eye deal. So now they take the Death Note that Light had, whom he has now renounced ownership of, acts as Kira and says, hey, I'm lending this to you. Also, this is a deal you can make with any Shinigami. And they're also told that in order to prove he's Kira and to get their Death Note back, that most of Mellow's mafia is going to die at 11:59 on November 10th. This will be their best chance to get the stolen one back. Soichiro, the investigation team decides to go through with this, and Soichiro will make the eye deal. Now, Soichiro only needs to see Mellow in order to kill him. Ryuk keeps Saito from getting in the way, literally by holding him, pulling him away from the situation.
I remember that scene. That's actually pretty funny.
And Soichiro and the team storm Mellow's compound. They get the Death Note, but Light pushes them to explore further to find Mellow, because at this point, Light, who is Kira, needs to know who this guy is and needs him dead, because he's one of the people who is really close to finding out who he is. Mellow sets off an explosion and seals them in the building, and Soichiro finds him and says his real name out loud, shocking Mellow in the process. He threatens to kill Mellow if he doesn't turn himself in, and he starts writing the name down. Just then, Soichiro takes a whole clip of rounds in the back of his body armor and falls to the ground clutching his Death Note. Soichiro's not dead. That's one thing we want to make clear here. This man took an entire clip of bullets to the back and survived?
The shooter sucks. I mean,
yes, obviously.
He could have hit him in the head, but I was like, that's still a whole clip. Whole mag.
Whole clip.
Just dumps it on him.
And so, Mellow's man is shot dead by none other than Matsuo as they all storm in behind the chief. So Mellow sets off another explosive, taking down the whole building on top of them. That ends the scene. So now flash forward a little bit. Also, big props to Matsuo, by the way.
Yeah.
For taking the shot.
Yep.
And so whatever negative thing you want to say about Matsuo,
Chad move.
Can't say it anymore.
Yep. Redeemed.
Yep. Fully redeemed.
Yep.
In the hospital, Soichiro tells Light that he could not be Kira because Soichiro can see his lifespan.
I hate this so much.
So this is why Light rescinded ownership of the Death Note again. Because he knew that if Soichiro took the ideal and saw that Light didn't have a lifespan over him, it would have been game over. Amen. So in fake panic, tells his father to use the last of his strength to kill Mellow, which he doesn't do. Instead, Soichiro, our chief boss man himself, dies happily, believing that his son was not Kira, and the Death Note goes back to Saito, who flies away.
That sucks. Man, I just hate the fact that Light allowed his dad to take the ideal. I mean, buddy.
Well, who else was going to do it? It's not even that he allowed it. It was more that, Soichiro stepped up and nobody else would have done it.
I mean, he's the oldest one. He doesn't have a lot. I mean, we don't know, right?
We don't know. Maybe he would have survived this whole situation.
He doesn't have a lot left in him. And then you have that. I mean, dog. I mean, I'm pretty sure, Matsu would have taken the hit. I'm just saying.
So here's something I want you to consider. What if it turns out that the fact that Soichiro dies just a couple hours after taking the ideal tells us that he didn't have long to live to begin with.
Fair.
He might have only lived for another day and a half.
That is fair because like they are storming this complex, and what are the chances that he might actually end up dying? You know what? You're right.
Exactly. So maybe Soichiro was the only one to do it. What pisses me off about it was that Light didn't write down Mello's name.
But Bossman actually yelled Mello's name,
No,
right?
he did. He yelled it out, and Light heard him. So Light heard the name. But if Light really wanted Mello dead, he would have written the name down somewhere else. Not in his death note, but somewhere else.
Classic.
Or made
dumbassery.
note of it or something like that. Because he could have still taken him. He could have still done it. But he didn't. Anyway, that's just one episode. That's a lot of wasted time. This was a very sad episode, and as soon as it was called Father, I think we knew something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Ollie,
Yep.
take us through the next episode.
All right. Episode 30. Justice. So right after the episode where Bossman died, the episode starts with Nier. He's down in his headquarters, describing his thoughts about Kira, and he was asked by Commander Rester. So Rester was like, "So what do you think of Kira? What kind of person is this guy?" Nier is a really smart dude, and how he described it is like, well, it's pretty simple. Kira is using the Japanese police to his advantage. Either he's using it or he's in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why every move is pretty, all the information he needs is right there for him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while they're talking about this, the scene goes back to the boys' hideout. I think that was Light's apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, they were talking about how is Kira really a bad guy or what, right?
Right.
So it is true that the crime rate, let's say just in Japan, they were saying that, well, crime rate is like in an all-time low now,
Mm-hmm.
which is which is pretty good. And the public perceives Kira now as an entity that punishes wrongdoers. And, you know, it came to a point that people are just like scribbling down on walls, like kill this guy, let's say cyberbullying, posted on the internet, with the hopes of like Kira will bring justice to these people.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the norm now. Now, me as an individual outside the anime, looking at this, I'm like, this is messed up. It's like,
It yeah, it's definitely messy, but
yeah,
it kind of makes sense. And it's interesting to think about what would happen if this was to happen in our world.
it's like this. I believe in consolidation of power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the public has access to power in a way that they can tell Kira, hey, Kira, this guy harassed a mother and child on the alleyway, and here's a
Mm-hmm.
video, right? And that can be whatever, and ends up killing the person. So an ordinary person was granted that power or a possibility that that person can have somebody killed, which is a message. So it's pretty messed up. And that being
Mm-hmm.
said, some people in the anime end up seeing Kira not just as an entity, but as a god.
Right.
Like
He gets to
he's,
that god status that he's been
yeah, he's
wanting.
starting to have these like worshippers, which is creepy. It's like it's pretty. No, it's not pretty culty. It is culty.
And we're gonna see that.
Oh, we're gonna
Oh
see that, all right.
man. Yeah. So it's
And
getting weird.
yep, it's getting really, really weird.
Take us forward.
Now, the scene. This is the sad scene. The scene cuts to Kira's mom sitting at the kitchen table, with Bossman's ashes wrapped in a box, and it's just depressing from the last episode how Bossman passed
He's gone.
away
Like
under the wrong
he's
impression. He's gone.
yep.
I mean, if anything, he died knowing that his son is not killed. I mean, like, good for you, bud.
He died happy.
He died happy, but it doesn't hide the fact that he was, he was lied to.
Yeah, of course.
I hate
We
that
know
so
that.
much.
You're not supposed to
Now,
light him.
oh no, I really do.
You're not
Now here's the
supposed to
funny
like
thing:
light.
nobody likes that guy. Maybe they do, but screw him. I don't like him. And
Okay.
then we're gonna see some familiar characters on the next scene. I remember Sakura TV, like
Yep.
uh
The Fox
the fact,
News.
like it's like the ETC. It's like so, Buddy, the producer.
He's been putting in work.
Yeah, he's putting in work. He's now the self-proclaimed Kira spokesperson with his show called The Kingdom of Kira.
Or Kira's Kingdom.
Kira's Mwah, Chef's Kiss.
Beautiful.
This guy is like, I am the spokesperson, and his power flows through me. I was
Yep.
like, all right. He doesn't get the clue that this is a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Very bad idea.
We'll
He
see.
just
We'll
cares.
see how this plays out.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, it plays out all right.
Ah,
It plays out. Now, during that show, if you would look at it, he was spewing words like anybody who does anything to aid or actively pursue Kira is a crime
right.
and must be punishable by death.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, during this broadcast, I forgot, I think it's Matsu broke into the room with a broadcast from the American president.
Right.
Now, this is America we're talking about. Freedom country.
Well, that's one word for it.
Liberty. Bald eagles. America.
Sure.
America.
Yep.
Now, the president is saying that, in a nutshell, we're standing down. We're not going to go after Kira. Of course, the press didn't take this really lightly, right? They're like, what the hell are you guys doing? In the president's defense, what he said has a point. Wars have stopped. Wars. Organized crime is gone, or like very minimal now. Like the world is in peace, so to
Was
speak.
seems genuinely in a better place.
Yeah, in a maybe I want to say this in a crime, maybe in a death toll perspective, like not a lot of deaths because of these things, which is true, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then he just left that statement, walks out, and then you would see Light grinning like a d-bag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you feel? Like, oh my god,
Oh my god, it
Morgan,
worked. I
Morgan,
did
not
it.
before me,
Yeah.
Morgan,
Yep.
Morgan. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
Now, here's the funny thing. Matsu says, I have a serious question. So the boys were like, the fuck do you mean you have a serious question? You weren't serious? No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
And he's really genuine about his question, which shook the boys. So he asked, do you guys really think Kira's evil? And then some of them were like, what kind of question is that?
Yeah.
I
Of
mean,
course he's evil.
of course he is.
Yeah.
Because he's acting on, they have all their opinions, right? But the
Right.
common consensus is Kira must be caught, regardless of what he is, whether
Right.
he be good or evil. He's taking the law, or like, he's taking things into his own hands, which is not
Mm-hmm.
cool. Now,
Mm-hmm.
also, I think it was Aizawa who said that this is not peace. This is not real peace. These evildoers are still around. They're just scared or just lying low to avoid the carnage that Kira can bring them.
Exactly.
Which is true,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're just laying low. They're not gone. They're there. And then Light, of course, with his 2 cents that we don't need,
Mm-hmm.
says Kira knows what he's doing. Kira knows that he is evil, and Kira's playing the martyr to change the world. So he pictured it as like Kira is taking the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still trying to make Kira like the good guy, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, of
Which
course he
is,
is.
it's not. And then furthermore, he said that, if Kira is captured by the authority, then he is evil. If not,
Right.
then he's
Then he
justice.
is good. Yep. Okay,
So I'm
so
like, what? Like, what a D-bag. What do you think of that?
tell us all about what Mello does next. Because Mello does
Ooh,
something
Mellow,
ridiculous.
Mellow does something. So let's start with our favorite thing on the world, shower scene, baby. So one of the SPK agents were like having a shower, right? For
Mm-hmm.
some reason, Mello got a jump on her.
Yeah, how
And
did Mello find where she lives?
no, here's the funny thing. That's not what I remembered. He took a bite of that chocolate bar. And remember when you said in our previous episode, this guy always takes the same bite on the same side of the goddamn bar.
It's the same bite. It's
The same
always
bite,
the same
the
bite.
same bite, and the same bar. Does he throw away the bar or does he finish it? We don't
Or
know.
is or is this an animation mistake?
Or is it just a one bar bite and throws the rest? Because if that, I'd hate this guy. You don't waste chocolate. So they got Mello. So
Okay.
Mello uses the girl to get into the SPK because he doesn't know
Right.
where to find me, right?
Right.
Then he get to the SPK. So this has been their first encounter for a while since both of them leaving the Wami house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like your traditional how's it going? Near pulled a Chad. Pretty good, bud. Thanks to all you're doing. You helped me out.
Mm-hmm.
So Mel didn't like this, and I'm not a tool for you, bud. I want to catch this bastard too.
Yep.
And then Mel was about to cap Near. Near? Cold-blooded, ice cold. Hey man, you can cap me, but like that's not gonna help anything. You do you, boo boo. You want to
Yeah.
shoot me? Go ahead, try it. Try me. Doesn't shoot him.
Uh-uh.
Anyways,
Of course not.
Near gave Mello his picture. Hey, but here's your picture. This is the only picture of Mello in existence. Because with that picture, I think Mello was scared that for some reason it might fall into the hands of a Kira person and ends up offing him. So gave
Mm-hmm.
the picture. Mello, surprisingly, is a gentleman. I can't take this for nothing. I'm gonna give you something. Tell you what, Shinigamis are real. I was like, what? Like, yeah, they real.
I met one.
I I've met one. Touch the
Oh,
notebook, and
jeez.
there's two rules that's not true.
Yeah.
What the funny thing, I don't know why he didn't tell them like there were like fake rules, which one the fake ones are, right? He just
Well,
didn't
I
tell
think
them.
that much was obvious. There were two rules added at the end of the list of rules. So to
Hmm.
say the last two rules aren't real.
That's true.
Yep.
So gave him info. They parted ways. The way they parted ways is pretty cool. It's like a
Yep.
mutual agreement that let's see who gets Sakura first, buddy boy. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now from the get go, Mir actually like figures out that okay, this is the fake rule. So what do you do if you think you're right? You test it out.
Of course.
So Mir calls L.
That's right.
This is okay. I'm gonna like condense this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hey L, how's it going, bud? Oh, pretty cool. Hey man, so Shinigamis, they real? Uh uh
What?
I don't know. Can I talk to the Shinigami there? So Light was like, how the does he know about the Shinigami? But Ryuk was like, I don't want to talk to this guy for the right
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah. Of course.
And then he asked, what do you think is the fake rule? L
Oh,
said,
he asks.
oh, probably the 13-day rule. And then L asked, he didn't say the name. Yo, Shinigami, are there any fake rules in the DN? Nope. The Shinigami says no. Oh, so there is a Shinigami there. So he already confirmed that. He was like, oh, wow, this guy's good.
Yeah.
And then he says, oh, Shinigami be lying.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? I don't care. I want to test this out. I'm going to write Mello's name to kill him, hang out for 13 days. If I don't die, you lying.
Oh, that's right.
right?
Oh,
So
I forgot about that.
with this being said, I'll put it on hold.
Yeah.
Hey boys, uh, Near's pretty smart. Well, what should we do? What should we do? Don't kill. Okay. No bueno. No killing. No texting
Yeah.
that note.
Yeah, don't kill him. We don't do that here.
Okay. And then, okay, no killing. Now, here's the second move that Near did. Uh, Near uses his BDE energy level 2 and asks the boys, hey boys, I know you can hear me. By any chance, was there a time that the second L was suspected to be Kira?
Kira? Oh, that was so
Oh man,
good.
Light was sweating bullets. And he was
Yeah.
like, "You don't have to answer this. You know, I'm gonna drop my line. You know what? Reach out if you
Give
you
me a
want to talk
shout.
about it.
Right.
No
Right.
problem." So L was like, crapping bricks at this point.
Yep.
Now he know he's cornered.
Yeah. How
What
does
does
he
he
get out of
do?
this?
Oh,
Well,
I
doesn't he?
mean, oh
Isn't he
yeah,
like,
he's
yeah?
cornered, man.
If you guys, he's like, yeah. If you guys want to talk, you can talk.
Yeah,
We all know I'm not Kira,
yeah,
but let's be real about the situation.
yep. And then
Yep.
power move. Kira was like, "Man, Near's gotta die. He
Oh
needs to
yeah. Yeah.
die."
Now he's like,
And he
no,
was like,
he's.
"Wait a minute, wait a minute. I made Murica my B. I'm gonna call Murica." So he phoned the president of the Murica and like, "Yo, SPK's on my ass. I need you to tell your boys at the CIA, FBI, the police, and all your intelligence boys to find out where these SPK dudes are hanging out and let me
Oh
know as fast.
man.
I know you
Yep.
want to live a long life, bud. It's all up to you if you want to live long." So,
Oh man.
ooh,
That's right.
now we cut back to Demigawa.
Yep.
Demigawa is going all like frothing in the mouth. All right, boys, we're gonna go to Murica.
Yep. Oh, that's right. Yes, and they end up outside SPK
Yeah,
headquarters.
because Kira wanted them to go to Murica to smoke out the SPK guys. So
Exactly.
he was inciting chaos.
So,
So, anyways,
mhm,
that happened. Demigawa in Murica, Aizawa and his buddy, the other cop, saying
yep.
like, "Hey, bud, I know you for a long time. I know what you're thinking about. Do the right thing." And he was like, "What? I don't like Light. I didn't ever trusted him. I trust you, but not Light. So you call our buddy N, let him know what's up, and
Yep.
let's get that drop on his ass." So Light was eavesdropping on the door.
Oh, that's right.
What a uh and
Oh.
and then Buddy cop busts through the door saying like, "Yo, Demicat was on TV live right now in America, inciting chaos." And then Misa was shown on the screen waiting for Nier to step out so she can get a drop on him.
Mhm.
And guess what? Like, guess what Kira does? He rings up Nier and started smack talking him. "Hey man, seems like you're having a
Uh,
bad time there, eh? You better
uh,
get out of there." And then the episode
hey.
ends.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yep. He
Oh,
wants
that's
him
so
dead.
much.
He wants him dead.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Freaking wild. Okay.
Hmm.
So, because we are left on this insane cliffhanger, we're just going to jump right into episode 31,
Yeah.
Transfer. So, 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 Mello is, he's just arrived at a Japanese airport as Demigawa continues to order the masses to infiltrate the SPK HQ. And are you getting January 6 vibes here?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yes. Right. Oh, damn.
Now, we're not going to make the assumption that Kira followers are similar to former fans of a former president, but we can't ignore the similarities here. So,
Yeah. Right.
so he asks the task force if there was ever a chance, ever a time. So Nier asked the task force if there was ever a chance, the second second L was suspected in their investigation. And Near concludes that, okay, this is wild. So Near concludes that the second L must be Kira based on the timing of his attack on his HQ. Near decides, in order to get out of this, now this is wild. In order to get out of this, Near decides to rain L's legacy on the masses to create confusion for his escape. So huge amounts of money are being thrown from this building onto the masses. And while Misa is waiting to kill Near as soon as his face is shown, that never actually happens because he got escorted out the back in full police riot gear. So while the people are scavenging to get the money, Near made his phenomenal escape and reestablishes contact with the task force and reminds them that if they ever suspected the second L, feel free to give him a call. Aizawa begins to suspect this, as the original L also had the same suspicions. So Aizawa calls the number left and tells him about the confinement at their request, or Light's confinement at their request, and to use the 13-day rule to clear themselves, along with the car situation with the chief. So basically, he says that the second L requested that he be detained and was nearly killed in order to prove that he's not Kira. But he's smart to leave their names out of it.
Yeah.
At no point does Aizawa say Light Yagami and Misa Amane are L and L's fiance. So that never comes up. And that's shows that Aizawa's like, I want to catch Kira, but I really don't think that he is Kira. Or I don't want to believe it. But with this info, Near pretty much seems to have things solved. Aizawa wants to put Light and Misa back under surveillance, and Mogi goes with them to search their apartment for the notebook, thinking that if there was a notebook there, then obviously they're Kira.
Yeah.
But remember, Light's got Misa's notebook on him at all times, and sold his own back to Saito.
Yeah.
So here we learn that Damigawa has gone full cult leader and continues to exploit the idea that Kira has chosen him to be his spokesperson for his own personal gain. And at this point, Light kind of thinks that Damigawa is no longer useful and needs to figure out a way to get rid of him. Suddenly, Damigawa and his selected officers die on live TV.
I actually laughed.
And so, somehow, Light thought about these people dying, and they died. So we're left going into the commercial break wondering, what the heck just happened? It turns out that Light and Misa mailed the Deathnote to some random person named Taru Mikami with perfect instructions on how to use it. But Misa has no memory of this, and therefore is just wondering why Mogi is just kind of going through and hanging out at her apartment.
Yep. Mogi's a good cook, by the way.
Mogi is a great cook.
Just saying, putting it out there.
And so she has no memory of this because she doesn't own a Deathnote anymore.
Yep.
So she relinquished it to this other guy.
Saito.
To Mikami.
Oh, yeah. Teru.
Right. So Teru has one. Light keeps one on his person, but doesn't own one. And the third one went back to the other person.
Yeah.
So, Misa has no memory of this. It turns out that he was someone who's truly believed in what Kira is doing in his heart and soul and would understand what was being asked of him. And the episode ends with Mikami telling him that he's happy to pass judgment and admits to himself that he believes that Kira isn't just a guy, isn't just somebody who
He's not a
has some sort
dude.
of power, but believes that Kira is like actually capital G God.
G.
Not a god, not a god of death, but
The.
is like the like Alpha Omega Bible God.
That's a tall order.
Yeah. But this episode like definitely takes you by surprise if you have no idea what you're expecting going in.
Oh yeah. It's human nature, dude.
Mm-hmm. So, episode 32, take it away.
32. This episode is called Selection. Now you mentioned that Death Note was mailed to a random dude, Taro Mikumi.
Oh
This
man.
this episode is called Selection for two reasons.
Yeah.
The first reason is how Teru ended up with the Death Note.
Yeah. It goes through his whole backstory.
Yeah. So this is a very short.
Which
It's really easy. So this is the backstory of Teru. So Teru, in a nutshell, grew up. You know, he's an upstanding kid, good morals and values, right? So it shows you like Teru wakes up, normal day, has a nice place, by the way, nice condo.
yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
prosecutor, by the way,
Right.
right? Eats breakfast, goes to work, and then on his bus ride to work, he saw a group of kids bullying one kid.
Mm,
Now, it starts with the flashback of him when he was still like in grade school. He saw a
mhm.
buddy getting bullied. He stood up. He got clapped. But then again,
Hard.
at the end of the day, they were like, "Hey, man, thanks for helping me out," and then they walk off. Time passes. High school. Someone's getting bullied. He stepped up. He got his glasses crunched. He got stripped down and photographed. Not cool.
Mm-mm.
And then there was a scene where his mom talking to him, telling him that, not everything will go as you planned it. It's just life, but you just have to adapt. That being said, he now tackles the story of his mom. He loved his mom. His mom
Mm-hmm.
died when a group of four teenagers was like recklessly driving and ran over his mom. Hence, like, those kids never really got anything. It's a pat on the wrist. So I would say that ignited his, I'm not sure if it's hatred or like his drive to like punish people who goes unpunished, which is okay, fair enough. Now, during this time, the Kira case starting happening, right? People, like bad people, are like mysteriously dying. So he saw the article like, oh, the mysterious killer is handing out justice, and it inspired him. Now, as time goes by, he really wanted to get noticed by Kira because this is where he
Mm-hmm.
started to see him. I'm not sure if at this point he sees him as the capital God already. Maybe not. Maybe yes. We don't know. Now, one day, out of the blue, he received a death note via mail
Right.
with the instructions. Now, he was the one who's going to do the killing. Now, that's all said and done. Killing happens. Kira doesn't have the death note on him while he's doing
Mm-hmm.
his shenanigans,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, during all this time, the time where Demagawa was like doing some BS, like shenanigans, he was wondering, how come God never gave me an instruction to off this guy? this,
Right.
this guy is pretty weird. So he felt like he felt like something was off.
right.
So you have to give him props for this
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because
Tara's like
Terry's
he's
smart.
so smart.
He's smart. Now he thinks that this is a bad spokesperson for
Of
Kira.
course. He's terrible.
Yeah, on his own, he selected this woman, anchor woman,
Oh, that's right.
to be the spokesperson
Yeah.
for Kira.
Yeah.
The reason why he selected this woman because he went to the show and had debates with her,
Yep.
about the Kira killings, had private meetings with her,
Yep.
which he realized, like, oh, this woman we see eye to eye.
Turns out she's into it.
She's into it.
Turns out she's into it. That's
And
probably some of
then,
the
yeah,
best
and then the broadcast
best line you
happens.
can hear. That's the best
Yep,
line you can hear from your
she's
partner.
into. Oh man, she's into
Turns
it.
out
Oh,
she's into it.
okay. Anyways, sorry, kids. So that happened, and then on the TV, this anchor woman says she's now the legitimate spokesperson
Yep.
for
For
Kira.
Kira. Yep.
So Light and the boys saw this.
Yep. And they're just as perplexed as anybody else.
Yeah, Light was
But
like,
Light's like stoked on how this all
he
shook
gets it.
down.
And the reason why Light was stoked, this woman just so happened to be his ex back in university.
Oh, that's
Bam.
so perfect.
The boys were like, God, really? That's your ex? Like
You dated
that?
her?
Like that? You? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my, yeah,
Yeah, we dated
didn't
a bit in
really work out,
university.
dated a bit. And then I ended up with Misa, but you know what? I'm a normal guy. I'm like, you're full of crap, dude. Screw you.
But to be fair, like he dated she was just into him as Light. Like Light
Yeah.
is a
Light is
catch.
light. He's a Chad. He's a Chad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. Now, with all this happening, Light mentions to the boys, hey boys, this chick is a Kira spokesperson now. I think we should like put her in the watch list, you know,
Right. Right.
to see what's up. But underneath that, he's already scheming something like,
Mm-hmm.
my ex. Ooh, I can do
Ooh.
something. I can get something out of this.
Yeah.
So Light casually calls his ex, Takeda, and sweet talks her. Yeah. It's like a moist chocolate cake meter going up. Until
You
like,
need to, yeah.
hey girl, how have you been? Who's
I've
this?
missed you. It's
Me, Light.
Light.
I
I've
missed you,
missed
girl.
you.
And then, aren't
Why did we
you?
stop dating?
Yep.
Aren't you a cop? Yes.
Yes.
Aren't you an anchor? Yes. I heard you
Yep.
were Kira's spokesperson. Yes.
Yes.
Let's
And
meet up. I want to talk about the investigation with you. Okay. Where do you want to
and
meet up?
no,
At a hotel.
yeah. The funny thing is, where do I got the hotel room ready? Like,
What?
you haven't seen this chick for a while, and you're just gonna tell like, hey girl, I got the hotel room ready. Let's meet up.
Yeah.
So they met up, right?
Yep. They did
While
the
this is
thing.
happening, Mello actually has Mises' place bugged already.
That's
Right?
right. Oh my god, he's already there?
He's already
That's
there.
so that's so creepy. Mello was like a rat in the walls
Yeah, he's
during
already
this
bugged it.
whole situation.
Yeah, he's just sitting there saying
Oh,
like, I can't believe that this lady is potentially the second Kira. She is dumb as a bag of nails.
she's yeah.
So, okay, Mello's just there listening to like Misa, who doesn't have any memory about all this crap.
That's
So he's
right.
getting nothing. He's sitting on a dud. Poor guy. So now the date happens.
Yeah.
Girl knocks on the hotel room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
before
man.
that,
They'd agreed to bug the hotel room. They'd
one
said,
of the Aizawa says, "Hey,
yeah,
hey, my guy," because Aizawa already has doubts, right?
of course.
So, hey, my guy, I want to hear a convo between your ex and like
Yeah, of
Light plays
course.
it off like, I actually want you to do that, dog. More ears, more info. Cool. So they
Yep.
bugged the
They
crap
bugged
out
the
of the
hotel room.
hotel room. So Light's ex Takeda got into the room. They locked eyes. Temperature rises. Sweet talking happens. Then while they were like sitting down catching up, her phone rang,
That's right. That's right.
and on the
Because
other line,
somehow,
it was Teru.
oh my god, Mikami, like, somehow,
Yep.
oh, and the way that they all connect the dots
Yeah.
together is unreal.
So Teru asked, "Are you alone?" "No, I'm with someone." Now Teru, being a smartass that he is, he was like, "Hold up. the broadcast just finished. For
Yep.
you to be with someone who can like get your attention, be
Yep.
in a hotel room, have a meeting this
Yep.
fast, must be
Yep.
someone important. And who's
Yep.
important? The capital G.
God
So
is the most important.
Taro asks, "Can you put the guy on the buddy on the phone?" The moment Light grabbed the phone, he says, this is verbatim, okay?
Yeah.
November 26th? 5 pages? What are you talking about? Teru stood up and yelled the name God.
Yeah.
So he
Oh
was
man.
he was gushing. He was like, "Hey God, are you
He
being
needed
watched?"
he needed
Yes.
new pants.
Yep. Can you really move? Nope. And then Light was like, "I need to know if you're the real, if you're my guy." So Terra was like, "Oh, he wants me to like prove it to kill someone." Oh, okay, okay. Tune to Sakura TV with the Kira Kingdom show going on live.
That's
So,
right.
so this is going on. He was dropping people
Yeah.
live.
Well, was he doing well, I thought that Demigawa and his officers were killed before.
No, this is a different one.
Okay,
They
this is a different
called
group of people.
this
Okay.
different because they wanted to bring Kira back on their station, right?
Right.
So he called in, and then they watched Sakura TV. People were dropping. So okay, Kira was like, okay, legit, you're my guy.
Yeah.
Now during the chaos, because the place is bugged, right?
Yeah.
He's on the phone. He writes on a note that can be seen on hidden camera. Kira would like to talk. I have to remove the bugs in this room in case he checks. So he removed the bugs himself, cleaned the house. After that, he told his ex that I am Kira, but you
Yeah.
can't tell Teru who I am.
Right.
So it's only his ex that knows his real identity,
Yeah.
minus Teru, plus Misa and like the rest.
Yeah.
Now he explains to his ex Kiyomi that he shared his power to Teru to evade and keep the kills going, right? And then she just bite it, hook, line, and sinker, man.
Yep.
And then Light calls the boys, tells them, "I'm gonna pretend to go out with my ex, just to get more information on there." And then the scene ends with Teru on a killing spree, on a very stylish
Oh
killing
man.
spree. So that's why
Oh.
this episode is called Selection. This is how like the two people got selected, Teru
Yeah.
and his ex, to
Yeah.
be in the fray.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. How
What
many
a
episodes do we have left? Like, this is 32,
we've
33,
got 5 episodes left.
34,
So,
35.
so the way that we're going to run this, so
Mm-hmm.
thank you very much. Those episodes were unreal. So that's
Mm-hmm.
the end of that sort of situation. Just before we disappear here, we've got 3 episodes left of Papercuts. So we're going to do the next episode is going to be a regular 4 episode coverage up to the second last episode. The next episode will be a uh, going over the final episode of the show, and we're going to talk about our overall feelings of the series from start to finish. Now that we'll have seen the whole thing, we'll have done it all, we'll go through the whole series and sort of have our overall thoughts about it. And then we've got something very special in store
Oh,
for
God.
the final episode of Papercuts. We're not going to tell you what it is, but it's very special, and we hope that it's something you really enjoy.
Yep.
My name is Scott. Of course, we've got Oli here with us. If you've enjoyed the show, be sure to give us a follow on any of your podcast platforms. If you're watching the video, then drop a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And Ollie, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram, Extra Rice Inc. That's Extra Rice Incorporated. And I'm on the ground. Shoot me a message if there's anything you want us to tackle. Any questions, suggestions for improvement, hit me up and we'll talk about it.
Fantastic. And we will be taking submissions for the next series to cover, next show to cover, next show to do, where we've got a short list, but we have to work through that short list before we are able to launch the next show coming up after Papercuts. So thank you so much for watching or listening, and we will catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Bye. Papercuts. Technical productions by Scott Walker of Helga House Productions. For more shows like the one you just heard, visit helgahouse.com.